Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 12 of What If Naruto Was Legendary? Uchiha x Namikaze. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was the Shadow of Konoha, and enjoy that guys. And I also post a brand new episode over Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Had the Deadliest Bloodline. So go ahead and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, the castle was conquered, as the two-tailed beasts were dead. As Naruto stood in the morgue as he was looking over the body of his friends that had perished, it was unfair. It was really unfair and pissed him off to no end that this happened to his friends. As he looked towards Armin and the others, as Baku had used them. He had used them like pawn. They shouldn't have happened. His father perhaps didn't know about this. Naruto wanted to keep the memories locked away, to make Baku think that he didn't know anything. The others weren't aware of this fact, as the soldiers came there to discard of the body, to destroy them to make sure no information fall in the enemy line. Naruto had eyewash to seal away those memories. They would resurface and he would tell his father about them, but not now. First, he had to keep on focusing on his war. As Naruto went to Rainjutsu, she was angry at him, but she didn't realize that Naruto must be miserable as well, as Armin was his best friend. As she apologized, as Naruto told her that he would be here for her no matter what. As Mikasa couldn't take it. Luckily Naruto was there for her. As she realized that he was always there by her side no matter what, she knew that she loved him, as she wondered if he felt the same. It was not time to think about something like that though. She was hurting badly. The weight of the day finally fell on her as she went to sleep, right on his shoulder, as he brought her back towards her bed. As Naruto went to clear his head, when something happened to him. He was keeping his emotions locked away so tight that he was pulled into his subconscious, where there was another him there. The part of him that was formed when he was younger, when he thought that his father was neglecting him. The part of him was angry at the villagers. And this part of him hated Naruto, because he told him that he took something away from him and hurt someone that he loved the most. As Naruto wasn't sure what he was talking about. As Naruto pushed that away though in his mind, as he made his way, him and Rainjutsu was there, as she came to find him and saw his eyes black. As he focused and returned back normal, she brought him something to eat. The both of them had a good time as Mikasa was watching them. She ran away. As Naruto went to talk to her, but she told him that she was sleepy and she was lying. And she didn't know why she think that he could have liked her. Why would he like someone like her, she thought herself. They were just friends. The next day Baku came as he saw that all of them hated him, but he did not really care about that. But they disrespected him, including Naruto as well as the entire company. Listen to Naruto orders and not his. They would be going to hear it, as they were going to be taking down and annihilating the weapons, missiles that Kira had, that could annihilate forces rather quickly. Kakashi was there at the head of the vanguard, as they were going to be rendezvousing with him. We then skipped to the Akatsuki hideout, where Kisame and Kushina was with the masked man. He was giving them the objective to find and eliminate the Black Ops and take out the commander, which was Naruto. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Naruto was in his room, as he was fully prepared as he checked himself over in the mirror. This mission was going to be dangerous and he knew that. Those missiles were destructive from what he heard. He would have to use his Mangeto to save life. It doesn't matter how much he tried, people were gonna die. But he was prepared. He had to be prepared for the worst, and he would keep his calm. His sharp ears picked up the sound that was coming from the field where Kakashi and the 2nd Battalion were waiting. He could feel fear, anxiety, anger, and hatred in almost every one of them. There was a swift knock on his door. The next moment, a black-haired beauty walked in his room. She had on her Konoha Jonin outfit and her headband. Her eyes, they were crimson red, like rubies. Captain Kurenai Iwai, it's an honor to meet you, said Naruto. Kurenai looked at Naruto in shock. Your Commander Phoenix, she said in shock. She had heard great stories about him, but he was just a kid. That was just impossible. Don't sweat it. I know it's hard to believe that I'm a real deal, he said, as he offered her a handshake as she accepted, without hesitation. I mean no disrespect, but I expect you to be a bit older, Commander, she said. It was hard to believe that he fought off against the entire division, and 2 Bijus and came out victorious. He was just a kid. He was wearing his Anbu mask, so it was hard for her to estimate his identity. But she had a feeling that she knew this boy. As Naruto pointed his finger at the small map that was on the decks, we will be hitting the beach 3 hours from now. If we combine our forces, we have 570 men on our side. There are various positioned all over the beach. Intel predict that there's a missile facility a few kilometers inside the beach. The numbers of missiles there are 10, said Naruto. Kurenai looked over the map. Then, we will just have to survive those 10 missiles. It won't be easy, but it's manageable. But Naruto shook his head in the negative. I wouldn't trust the intel if I was in your position, said Naruto bitterly, as memories of the past came flooded back in his mind. Why is that, said Kurenai, confused. The intel was usually right about such things. The last time I trusted the intel, I lost 25 of my best men, and had to fight against 2 TLBs in the entire company of Stone Anvu, while the intel estimated that there was just a few idiots guarding the castle. Kurenai gave him a sympathetic look, but she also understood his point. What do you need from your subordinate, she asked. Technically, he was in charge here, and she had to follow his command. Not as subordinates, said Naruto, but as comrades. His words shocked her. What was so different about him? He was one of the strongest ninjas of Konoha, and yet he was showing humility and compassion to someone that he just met. Whatever doubts that she had about him was now erased. She was sure that she could trust the life of her man in his hand. Yes, she said happily, as he placed 3 pieces on the map. We will be attacking the enemy stronghold from 3 different sides. First Division will attack from the north side, and he will infiltrate the enemy and cut off the track the enemy will be using in case of retreat. Second Division will be hitting the Central Division, while 3rd Company will provide support by covering the 2nd Company, said Naruto. Kurenai nodded. How much men should be there in each company, and who would lead them, she asked. 1st Company will have 250 ninja. 2nd Company will have 200 ninja, while the 3rd Company will be consist of 120 ninjas. I want the enemy to underestimate us. Mikasa Ackerman will be leading the 1st Company. She's my best soldier and she can handle anything, said Naruto, as Kurenai agreed. Kurenai-san, you be leading 3rd Company while I lead the 2nd Company. She disagreed though. With all due respect, you're the Supreme Commander. You need to stay back, there's many more ninjas that can do this risky job, she said. But he gave her a kind smile. I appreciate the concern, but I won't stand behind and watch as my ninjas face such a dangerous enemy. I'm a commander and this is my decision. If I'm gonna die, I like to die by my soldiers. She didn't like this, but she was smiling. Someone like him was what they needed. He was selfless, a good, kind person. Time skip. This is bullshit. Why do we have to fight beside these stupid Inzakas? Hyuga asked in an angry tone. The next moment he was grabbed by Hana. What was that? Freaky eyes? You heard me, girl. You Inazakas are idiots who just charged in recklessly. It's because of your clan that 2 of my friends died, the Hyuga said in an angry tone. People were quarreling amongst each other. Shut the hell up, Nara. If not for the Uchiha clan, this war would have already been lost, a young Uchiha said, as Nara snarled. Yeah, we all saw how brave you Uchiha were in the Battle of Shikamae, when you got your ass handed to you. Mikasa watched in annoyance as they quarrel amongst each other. After endless of fighting, they have lost patience and even start to blame each other. I heard that these blacklights are butchers, that they even kill innocent children, a old woman said, as a kunai was placed at their throat. Say that shit again, and I'll slice your neck off, said Genma. How dare this bitch, after everything their friends have gone through, and risked the people that they lost. And they had that to say about them. It pissed them off. Tiger, said Mikasa, but he simply looked at her angrily. No one is trusting each other. How can we defeat the enemy if we can't even trust each other? Rinjutsu said, in a disappointed tone. It can't be helped, the war has really taken a toll on these guys, and they're blaming each other, plus clans and their rivalries. Aizumo said. Shizune looked around sadly. Did Ketetsu really die for this? The entire place started to shake as everyone quieted down as they stopped themselves from falling. They had to support each other from falling, as Shizune watched, as they helped each other despite it being unintentional. Where did your hatred go? As she looked up to see her captain, standing beside a pissed off Kurenai. The regular ninjas took a step back as they saw the phoenix mass. And Kurenai looked towards him with a disappointed gaze. Go on, kill each other. It will be really fascinating to kill your comrades. It will make the enemy's job a lot less easier, don't you think? Most of them lowered their heads in shame. I am really sorry for the behavior of my ninjas, Commander, Kurenai said, but Naruto shook his head. He then stepped forward as he walked towards the Hyuga and gave him a kunai. Kill me, he said. Those words shocked him as he stepped back. I can't do that. As Naruto stepped forward and placed a hand on his shoulder, Hyuga, what you're feeling right now is understandable. As the Hyuga averted his eyes, as Naruto looked around, he saw the hatred, the sadness, the grief, the suffering of being in this pointless war. It's been a long war. I know that. It's been endless. And I am too a shinobi. And I have cursed everyone for the pain that we all had to go through. But a single boy, he stopped me. He fought for me, even though we were not family. He bled for me, even though he was not my brother. And he ultimately died for me without any remorse, although he didn't owe anything to me. And yet he called me his friend. I am sure that all of you have a comrade like that, said Naruto. A lone tear slipped from Ranger's eyes. She knew exactly who Naruto was talking about after all. As Naruto's gaze shifted towards Uchiha and Naruto that were fighting, as they were intimidated by his gaze. If you want to insult your comrades that have fallen for you, go ahead and kill each other. That is what the enemy want after all. As Naruto stepped in front of a girl, her arm was bandaged. As Naruto moved forward in front of her and pulled out a kunai, before he stabbed his own arm. Commander, what color is this, said Naruto. Red, sir. Does your injury hurt? Does it cause you pain, said Naruto. As she nodded. If the color of our blood is the same, if the pain that we feel is the same, if the country that we fight for is the same, then stop fighting amongst each other. No one's the enemy here. All of us have been hurted by the enemy. Uncle smiled when she saw ninjas realizing their mistake. Inuzaka, said Naruto. As Naruto's eyes looked at Hana, telling her to have faith in herself and ninjas beside her. Nara, said Naruto. As Kurenai saw the few Naras ready to fight as one. Uchiha, said Naruto. As he looked towards his clansman, to make his point clear, he flashed his Sharingan. As they gave him a smile in return, a determined look in their eyes. Black light, said Naruto. As Ranjuta looked at him. I believe in you, she whispered. And the Hyugas, they're all no more, said Naruto. Now, we're all comrades. Kurenai was shocked when all of them erupted into cheers. As Mikasa smiled, are you seeing this, Armin? He really is the savior of this world. Time skip. An explosion went off as Naruto ran as fast as he could. As explosive tags rained down on them. As expected, intel was useless. The enemies were far more than they expected. Get off this beach! He yelled as a couple of kunai brought down two of his men. There was so much smoke and ash in the air that he could barely see. Everywhere around him, people were dying every second. It was like a nightmare. This really was hell and he didn't know how much was in store for them. As he saw Izumo and Genma hiding behind a couple of corpses, as he rushed towards them. Let's go, he said. But they were not moving. They were scared. Explosions ring around all of them. I said get your ass up, said Naruto. As his tone snapped them into focus. God damn, man, what do we do? Incoming! As Naruto's eyes widened as he saw a large weapon coming down towards them. If his intel was right, this was the missile. Kamui! The thing went off as a shockwave blew everything away. But Naruto was absorbed in the explosion as he sucked it away in the Kamui. As Izumo looked around as he heard another explosion as he turned back, he then saw Kunai landing beside Naruto. Boom! As he was blown to shreds. As Izumo's eyes went wide. Get your ass moving, Wolf, said Naruto. As Izumo realized, a clone, said Genma. As Izumo nodded, as both the boys got up and started to run. Blood, screams, explosions were being spread everywhere. The most frustrating thing was they could not see the enemy in such chaos. As Naruto blocked a kunai with his stunto from a Kiri ninja who tried to kick him right in the nuts. As Naruto flipped over the man, as he came down with a slice, the man's head dropped like a ball. As he saw where the Kiri ninjas were hiding behind a slope and firing towards his man, he went through hand sign, earth style, tearing earth turning palm. Sharp spikes rose from the ground and ripped the entire bunker apart as the enemies cried out in pain. Commander, over here! Yelled Hisashi as Naruto rushed over towards him. What is the situation, Hisashi? We're getting screwed out here, said Naruto, as another one of his comrades were ripped to shreds. The Kirin ninjas are fighting in bunkers, probably to escape from the missiles that you're launching at us. They're firing your weapons too quickly. I tried to capture the boss, but half of my squad was wiped out, as Naruto saw many bodies lying in the path, as Hisashi was angry. Owl, bird, swan, provide suppressing fire. As Hisashi watched as he saw 3 Blacklight members step forward. One of them created hundreds of blue arrows, while the others released kunais. Naruto gave the signal to Genma as all of them started to run. Genma flashed through hand signs to the enemy, had slowed down for a while because range of the arrows were stopping him. Fire style. Burning missiles. He spewed flames that split and slam right in the bunker. Screams of pain and suffering could be heard as the Kirin ninjas were burned alive. Hisashi and everyone with me, said Naruto as he jumped down to the bunker. As the Kirin ninjas tried to flee for their life, as they were cut down, a group of kunais were headed towards him. Rotation. As Naruto saw a woman jumped in front of him and used her rotation to deflect them rather quickly. She bent in front of Naruto with a smile, a motherly smile. You'll be fine, son, she said, as she patted him gently on the head before she headed off. Who was that? Said Naruto. Her reflex was quick. She's Temira Hayuka, my brother's wife. Let's move, Hisashi said. Boom! An explosion went off in the bunker. Hisashi eyes went wide as he shot forward in panic as Naruto ran after him. Meanwhile, Umikasa, company, as she looked at the long era in front of her, there was no sign of enemy forces. She knew at this very moment Naruto and his soldiers were being wiped out, but she had to stay calm. The 250 ninja behind her were depending on her. For the first time, she understood the burden that Naruto was bearing every day. She realized that everyone would be following her orders, and many of them won't make it, and those deaths would be on her. Being a leader was really tough. What should we do? Uncle asked curiously. As Mikasa looked towards her friend. We don't know who's out there. This mist is preventing us from seeing who's out there. There's only one way to know. I'm going ahead. The rest of you, stay in your positions. She was grabbed by Uncle. Are you crazy? You're the commander. These men will shit themselves if anything happens to you. Let someone else go. Being a leader also means taking risks. I'm the fastest ninja in this entire force. I can handle myself. Sneak. If the company goes in blind, we will be ripped apart. And this is a command, she said. Uncle gripped her tonto and stepped beside her. What are you doing? If you're gonna do something stupid, then I can't leave you alone out there. Mikasa eyebrow twitched. Value your damn life, Snake. You barely survive at the castle, said Mikasa angrily. Well, there are some things I value more than my life, said Snake. As Uncle ran ahead, leaving a shot Misaka behind. She turned back to the company. Stay put, Eagle. If anything happened to us, you're in charge. As she ran off, I watched a gulp as he watched as Misaka took off. A few moments later, Eagle, I was right. The enemy has set trap in the sand. I have disabled them. Move in my direction. Got it. But how do you know the enemies has set trap in the sand? Asked Iwashi. Because I got Uncle sitting right on top of one of them. Explosive tags. I need your help now. His eyes widened. Got it. On my way, he said. Hang on. Meanwhile, hang in there. You have to live for your daughters, Hisashi said. What was he gonna tell his brother? His wife was blown into half. She was dying in his arms. Akira Ninja had blown himself up and brought her down with him. He could see Naruto firing at the forces. He could see people being blown to pieces, explosions. The sky was red in color. It was like they were really in hell. Hisashi, she said. Take care of your brother. I will. And tell my daughters, She could not finish the sentence as her hand fell. Izumo gave the confirmation to Naruto that she was down. Acknowledged, said Naruto. Izumo was surprised how calm he was being. Even Genma watched as Naruto fires his weapon towards the forces. The boy they knew would have burst into rage, seeing so much of his comrades die. But he was keeping his cool. Wolf, Tiger. We need to move now. As Naruto moved towards Hisashi. She was like a sister to me, he said. Hisashi, we need to move now. We cannot let the enemies pinpoint our location. But the man had lost the will to fight. I can't go back out there. This is hell. Naruto grabbed him by his collar. Everyone feel the same way you do. It's what you do right now that makes a difference, said Naruto harshly, as he dropped him right on the ground, as he ran out of the trench, leaving Hisashi to make a choice. As Naruto stepped in front of the group as they moved, they ripped through all of the enemies that came their way. Meanwhile, with Uncle's group, you stupid woman, said Iwashi, as he saw Uncle standing right on the explosive tag. Somehow she was successful from stopping from exploding. But the entire place was filled with nothing but explosive all around. If Mikasa and Uncle didn't go ahead, half of their men would be obliterated by these traps. Get your ass over here and help me, you idiot. Sir, he said as he ran after his stuck comrade. Incoming! The both of them froze as he saw a large missile coming towards them, but Mikasa leaped over their heads. Wind style. Vacuum wave. She slammed a powerful current of wave into it and diverted its path. Boom! The thing went off, shaking the area. Many ninjas were blown meters away. Mikasa was getting tense. The mist was so much she couldn't see a damn thing. She flashed through hand sign. Lightning release. Thunderbolt jutsu as she slammed her hand down on the ground. A devastating lightning strike went across the entire area. The mist started to disappear, but her happiness turned to fear when someone stepped in front of them. This is gonna be fun. She knew who this man was. Kisame, said Mikasa, murderously, as she pulled out her tanto. Meanwhile, with Naruto's company, as Naruto and his man had penetrated deep behind enemy lines, and soon they reached the missiles. As Naruto removed Akunoichi's head before driving his blade through a shinobi's heart. Move forward! As the shinobis moved forward, but then he felt a monstrous amount of chakra. This is not possible. This is too much chakra for a normal person. As Naruto realized, a Jinchuriki. Not even a Jinchuriki would possess this much chakra unless they had... Wait! Naruto shouted! A powerful wave of chakra hit the entire field, and his man fell one by one. The pressure of the chakra was so strong Naruto started to tremble. This enemy was a Kage level ninja. The sound of footsteps could be heard as a woman emerged in front of him. This woman, who was supposed to be dead. Kushina. Meanwhile, Mikasa looked towards the murderous eyes of Kisame. She didn't know what this man was doing there. As far as she knew, this man defected from Kiri a long time ago. Then why was he here defending Kiri territory? It made no sense. But there was one thing that she knew. He was going to kill her and everyone here. She could see it in his eyes, his beady, black eyes. But he was an S-rank ninja. Could she even go up against him? Charge! Few of her ninjas jumped forward, but Kisame jumped in the air. Thud, thud, thud. Their bodies dropped lifeless. He shredded through them like they were vegetables. I can sense your fear. Let's make this more enjoyable, he said, as he sped towards them and raised his blade. Clash! Kisame smirked as his sword was blocked, parried by Mikasa kunai. You'll be fighting me, she said, as she brought her feet up in her own horse kick. Kisame flipped away with a grin on his face. She had some guts. Maybe she would be better than the other weaklings. That's not fear, short face. Let's even battle. As Mikasa saw Uncle Shizune arrive right beside her, along with Iwashi. Sorry for arriving late. She almost shit herself, said Iwashi, as he pointed at Uncle. Bam! She smacked him over the head. She was grateful for the mass. Or everyone would have seen how embarrassed she was. She was a tough bitch after all. How dare that idiot spoil her reputation? I don't know how you deal with these idiots every day, Mikasa thought. Blacklight. Formation K, she said, as they fired coolness and shrieking towards him. But he blocked all of them, as they all flashed around him. 30 black light all around him as he flashed through hand sign. Sealing technique, dark black formation. A large barrier was formed around him. The 4 kids that he seen earlier was inside. Did they really think they could defeat him? Diversionary tactic. Do you all really believe that you can actually kill me? Or that this can actually hold me in here? All of them pulled their weapons. Kisame just smirked. Stupid, stupid kids. As he formed hand signs, 40 water clones appeared in the barrier with that cocky grin on their face. He really is a chakra monster. This is going to be a pain in the ass to Iwashi. Commander, leave the fodder to us. Keep the original busy while we finish them off, said Uncle. Remember, we need to take him down quickly. This barrier will keep on absorbing our chakra. The same go for him. But his sword can provide him chakra. One way or another, we have to stop him or die trying. Because if he gets out, he'll use Kakashi Company as cover and use his skill and technique to take us one by one, said Mikasa, as they all nodded. Kill them all, said Kisame, as all of his clones moved forward. Mikasa flashed through hand sign. Wind release. Pressure damage! Everyone who watches half of the clones are obliterated. The rest are yours, handed them, said Mikasa. Kisame grinned happily. Hot damn, he said as he rushed towards Mikasa, as she rushed towards him. Meanwhile, with Naruto. Naruto was shocked. Did his mother lie to him? Did his father lie to him? He couldn't understand this woman was supposed to be dead. He remembered her from the picture that he once saw in his parents' storeroom. In that photo there was Jiraiya, Minato, Mikoto, and Kushina. He asked his parents about her. They said that she died in an untold mission. It seems it was far from the truth, plus she had a foul chakra. The amount of hatred and anger she had in her chakra took all of his men down in seconds. and Konoha only possessed 9 tails. The mystery started to become a lot more clearer. She was Konoha Jinjuriki. The Konoha slashed out headband in her head, showing him all the answers that he wanted. So, Konoha turned traitor. Are you Kushina Uzumaki? He said flatly. She looked at him, her face was devoid of all emotion. Blonde hair, phoenix mask. He looked to be 14 or 15. He was a threat to their plans and he had to be stopped. No one could stand in the way of her peace. Not her friends, not her family. No one. Not even young children. Now that the war begun, names don't matter. Traitor, monster. Call me whatever you like, said Kushina, as she threw a couple of kunas and shuriken right towards him, as he blocked all of them. She then fired another round towards Aizabu. As Naruto's eyes went wide, Kushina blinked as he protected the boy. This brought her painful memories of her past. You're pathetic. I thought you were a skilled commander and yet you're here, trying to save a nobody, a normal shinobi. He took all those shurikens in his back. Pathetic. She watched as he coughed blood from his mouth. The only one that is pathetic is you. They're not just soldiers, they're my family. Fight me, said Naruto, as he pulled out the shurikens on his back. She didn't know what it was, but there was something about her that was just so familiar. It felt like she had seen him for ages now, despite this being the first time she was seeing him. Why do you fight for them? There are no friends in this world. The only thing that exists is misery and hatred, she said. His Sharingan flared to life. Her eyes widened on seeing his eyes. Seems like she didn't know all about his powers. A blonde Uchiha? She thought in shock. Everything was going haywire. What the hell was going on, Uchihas? Were dark people who never show their emotion. And when since there was a blonde Uchiha in this world? I fight for them because you never give up on family no matter what. Her eyes widened. Even more as she looked at him. Those words. There was only one other person that said those words. Minato, she thought. Meanwhile, as Kisame swung his blade as he dissipated 3 clones that jumped down on top of him, as the real Mikasa flashed to hand sign, demonic illusion, hell viewing technique. Why did you do this to me? Akira Kunoichi said, you're a monster. Traitor! Kisame got pissed as he saw people from his past. Release! He released a monstrous amount of chakra. It was over for these kids. He was done playing around. All of them are gonna die. As he jumped towards Mikasa, but she was already prepared. Lightning release. Lightning flash, pillar, she said. Kisame hissed in pain as a blinding light blast from her body. It was like the damn sun was just brought down towards his face. Mouse, now! He cursed as he could not see as several senbon pierced into his body. He then received a devastating kick across his face. Iwashi pulled out a small tag as he saw Kisame falling towards him. Their plan had worked. All of the water clones had been destroyed and their enemy had no idea what just hit him. As he flashed to hand sign, as his eyes were fixed on a large sword on Kisame back. Binding seal technique. Kisame spin right after and slammed the kick into Iwashi's face, knocked him away. As Kisame landed on his feet, but then Samehata stopped sending chakra to him, and it felt 10 times heavier on his back. He released the strap on his blade as it crashed on the ground, a large crater that would bear 10 men. He was now surrounded by 4 blacklight troopers. Toby was not lying when he said that they were stronger than any other envoy in the world. His opponents were panting harshly because the barrier was draining their chakra as well. They were willing to sacrifice their own life if it meant taking him down. He could not feel a damn thing from his blade. It was like it just shut down as he saw that damn boy who was standing there. He was the one that did it. Damn it. Not to mention half his chakra points were cut off by that woman. So that boy is a Fuinjutsu master. That one's a medic. The snake mask bitch seemed to be good in taijutsu, while the leader is a genjutsu specialist. Man, they really are something, thought Kisame. Mikasa looked towards Shizune. As Shizune blinked 4 times, she nodded back. They had to hold him off for 4 more minutes, but Iwashi was on the verge of collapsing, using almost all of his chakra to seal away Samehata. And a part of his face was fractured due to Kisame's kick. Anko was also panting, but they had to hold Kisame off for 4 more minutes. Here he comes, Shizune said. As Kisame charged towards them, I'll handle him with my taijutsu. Mouse, Heel Weasel, and Eagle. While I keep the shark face at bay, Anko said, as she jumped straight towards Kisame. As Mikasa stepped in front of Iwashi, as Shizune healed the injured boy. Anko dodged Kisame attacks. They were rather awful coming down. She couldn't let him hit her, but she was skilled in the Hebai style. She had speed and she could dodge quickly. But her eyes widened when another Kisame appeared behind her and attacked her in a flash. Die bitch, as he kicked her straight up in the air. But he didn't stop there as he flashed in front of her as he slammed a heel in her chest. She coughed up blood. He can still create a shadow clone. Damn it, Uncle cursed as she felt many bones break at that. As she crashed to the ground, she saw Kisame and his clone falling down towards her. But two bolts of lightning came down and struck the clone. The other one struck Kisame's side as he tilted. But then Mikasa appeared and kicked him right in the nuts before she landed right beside Anko and pulled her away. The condition that she was in was worse than she thought. She was one of the best in taijutsu and yet she couldn't hold the man down for more than 1 minute. Way to go, girl, Anko said. Right on target as she coughed up more blood. Kisame was hissing in pain as she had added chocolate to her feet. As the man was raging. Hang in there, said Mikasa as Anko gave her a weak nod. On the other hand, Kisame was in immense pain. But that bitch was the only one left, the others were exhausted. Mikasa released a torrent of kunai right towards its face. He started to deflect them, but she formed a single hand and they started to glow. He leaped up in the air, boom, they went off. He sighed in relief as he escaped the blast to think they had chakra tags all over them. She flashed in front of him and tried to stab him in the chest, but he caught her hand. A wicked grin came on his face. Got you, he said. She dispersed in a flock of crows. She flashed behind him and she stabbed him right in the neck. But her kunai couldn't go that deep in his neck. It was like his body was as hard as a rock. As he grabbed her by the hair and slammed his knee right into her chest. It was followed by an insane chop to her throat that sent her sailing as she crashed in the ground. Weasel, Shizune cried out. But Kisame flashed in front of her and stabbed her right in the chest. Mikasa watched as Iwashi and Anko was stabbed by the man as well as he collapsed to the ground. Mikasa coughed up blood. Naruto, I'm so sorry, she said. Her eyes shifted towards the watch as he clicked down to 0. Kisame screamed as blood exploded from his body. All the areas that Shizune had hit him with a senbon. What is this? What did you do to me? He screamed as he started to cough black blood from his mouth. Mikasa jumped behind the ear as he brought his kunai forward. Clash! His kunai stabbed right into her chest as hers pierced into his head. As she gripped onto it tightly and wrapped her arms around the man so he could not escape. Fire, she said as the barrier dropped. As hundreds of kunais ripped into the both of them. Kisame's body fell down to the ground lifeless. Kunais embedded all over him. As he dropped with a thud. The lifeless body of Mikasa also dropped as well. A few minutes earlier, I fight for them because you never give up in family. Shut up, said Kushina as she saw that man right behind Naruto. Naruto leaped out with ice moves as Tail came after him. The next moment, Kushina was right in front of him. She really wants to kill me. Forgive me, Mom, said Naruto. As Kushina watches both of them disappear in a flock of crows, she landed on the ground. There was no such thing as family. This was merely illusion, and she would not fall for it again. No matter how much you try to preach your nonsense, I will use my hatred to crush all your dreams and hopes. There is no such thing as family, she said in a murderous tone. As Naruto appeared in front of her, the amount of killing intent that she was leaking was really unbearable. As he was sweating badly, the air had become so heavy it was hard for him to breathe. Run away right now, before it's too late, Ikario said. As Naruto was surprised by his other half. You're telling me to run away, to abandon my friends, my soldiers to die. I can handle her. I handled Jinchurikis already. At first I thought that you were an idiot, but now I know that you're retarded. You think you can fight the Kyuubi? Fine, it's your funeral anyway, Ikario said. As he cut off the connection, Naruto didn't know why Ikario was nervous. True, she was probably the strongest that he ever faced, but still, he had a jutsu that was unbeatable. A power that could counter the strongest jutsu in this world. Seals on her hands, there was a poof, as shurikens appeared in her palm. The both of them sort of threw shurikens and kunais after each other as they deflect each other's attacks. Before Naruto ran out as he pulled his blade, he was able to counter all of them with his Sharingan. She had enough as she flashed in front of him, but he grabbed both of her hands as he tried. Look in her eyes. Your Sharingan is useless against me, she says. She avoided eye contact with him. As Naruto smirked, too cocky. She looked up to see another Naruto, and it already fired 4 explosive attacks towards him. He wants to take me down with him. Boom! The explosion went off. As Naruto cursed, she didn't have a single scratch on her body. Kushina was also alarmed, as she had 2 tails over her that covered her. But he was completely fine, not even a scratch. Something is not right here. He should have been blown to pieces. It made no sense. Zetsu told them that this boy was strong, but this didn't make any sense. As he flashed through hand signs, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. She brought her sword forward and sliced the attack in half. Amaterasu. Her eyes wide on a black arrow struck one of her tails. She screamed out as an unbearable pain rushed through her body. Those black flames started to run across her other tail, and she saw the pattern in Sharingan. A Mangekyo Sharingan. Just like Madara, she thought. She seriously, really had to kill this boy. Her entire body was on fire, and he was giving her a murderous look. He wanted to finish her off. She knew that those jutsus require extreme concentration. She released a torrent of kunai towards his man as he jumped towards them to save them, but he left himself wide open. He screamed in pain as a large hand of red chakra grabbed him that burst from the earth. His skin was being burned badly by the toxin chakra. His Sharingan swirled as he passed right through it, but he escaped with a price. His shirt was already burned off, and she saw blood all over his chest. Give or take, he barely had 10 more minutes before the Bijou chakra poisoned his insides and destroyed all of his organs before he fell dead. She had to admit that he was strong, but he was too young to face someone like her. Maybe a few years, yes, but not now. He was panting harshly. Seeing him in so much pain did not make her happy. Naruto, take my help. You're gonna need me, Akaru said. Like hell, said Naruto. You wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice my man if it meant to have some fun with her. Tuh, Akaru said. Fine. I'll help you to protect your stupid soldiers. Cut the crap. What are you up to, said Naruto. Nothing, you idiot! If we combine our powers, there is no force in this world that can stop us. Besides, in our entire existence, I've never seen anyone that has so much hatred as us. Than this woman. Akaru said in a lustful tone. As Naruto's sweat dropped, you do know that she's the same age as our mother, right? Who cares? She's strong. She's hot. And besides, I have a thing for redheads. As Naruto was confused, his alter ego liked older women in redheads. He was the complete opposite of him. Still, there must be something else you want. Akaru whispered a few words. What? Akaru shrugged as Kushina came forward and grabbed Naruto by the throat and lifted him in the air. Why do you have a monkey to Sharingan? Who are you? As she gently lifted his phoenix mask. For the record, I'm sorry for this. Kushina was confused as he grabbed her neck. As he bit into her neck and started to suck her blood. That caught her off guard as she pushed him away. He had on a face mask so she couldn't tell who he was. What kind of monster are you? She said. You know, you're right. I am a devil, said Naruto. Instead of a Sharingan, one of his eyes were black like a demon, while the other still had the Mangekyou. As he wiped the blood off his lip and licked off his finger, the wounds on his chest got healed instantly. Even the blood was sucked back inside his body. No, that's Naruto I remember. The sneaky, cold, manipulative bastard. AKA me, said Naruto. Now, as he looked towards Kushina. Naruto? Kushina said. She had heard that name years ago. Just who was he? Don't worry about that, hottie. We're gonna have a lot of fun, said Naruto. She blinked. He wasn't talking like this. She couldn't get to finish her thought as she felt a fist smashing her stomach. She was thrown back hundreds of meters as she was sent crashing. Now then, let's do some cleanup. As he created 4 clones. What's the order, boss? I promised my partner that I would save these pathetic, useless piece of... I can hear you, know. If you touch him, I'll kick your ass back to oblivion. You're only controlling me partly. I'm here, and can still stop your fun. Ikaria chuckled. Don't worry, partner. We're still on the same side. You know the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If she kills you, I die as well, Hikario said. It's in my interest to help you, even if it means saving your idiotic soldiers. Now let's kick some Uzumaki ass. Naruto didn't want to admit it, but he liked this. The bad boy attitude, the power flowing through him, and he didn't feel bad about it. Maybe Ikaria wasn't so bad after all. Fire release, great fire annihilation. As Naruto saw a tsunami of fire coming towards him, but he was already flashing through one sign. Water release, violent water wave. The water was 10 times larger than Kushina fire as it swamped it out. As steam spread in the air, with the water splashing around. As Naruto turned towards his clones, you idiot, set up a barrier because we're about to be attacked. As he looked towards his unconscious soldiers. As he then turned back as they set up the barrier, 100 fireballs were coming down towards them. She's pissed, said Naruto. I love a wild red head, said Ikario. As he slammed his hands together, the fireballs rained down and decimated everything. Kushina landed. Finally it was over. The boy was really getting on her nerves. And oh dear, he sucked her blood. But he emerged from the smoke with not even a scratch on him. Sorry, hottie. I'm not so easy to be taken down, though you're getting close. Her face became red with anger and embarrassment. I'm gonna kill you, believe it, she said. No, that's a spirit, babe. Come on. As she jumped straight towards him, he blocked her sword strike with his tonto. Chains shot from her body and wrapped him up. As she gathered a large chakra in her mouth. Fire release. Hiding in ash and dust technique. She spewed a monstrous amount of ash from her mouth that knocked him away. His eyes wide when hundreds of Bijou laced chakra bullets were about to slam into it. He flashed to hand sign. Wood release. Wood locking wall. The wooden wall was being obliterated. Wood release? What the hell is going on? Kushina thought with confusion. What's that? Because suppress her Bijou chakra and she couldn't have that. She was gonna have to end the battle right now. She threw a kunai towards him at a very fast speed, thinking that it was a normal attack he ducked, but she appeared and slammed a fist into his face. Damn, the kunai was just a diversion. She's so fast. She got to me so quickly, Naruto thought. He blinked as she was in front of him as she brought her fist downwards. He tilted his head and diverted her fist aside before he smashed his fist into her gut. She spat out blood. He then crushed his fist under her chin. Her teeth bit into her own tongue. "You brat! You're gonna pay for that," she said. As she flashed through hands and released a fireball from her mouth. As a giant wall of water appeared on Naruto and blocked it. Damn it, what is this kid? He's creating powerful water source from nothing. There's no water source nearby. How can he even do that? As the both of them rushed towards each other and engaged in taijutsu. It was more her attacking than him dodging. Despite her not using her full strength, he was really something impressive. As the both of them jumped away. "Why did you betray Konoha?" said Naruto. "Why betray your family?" Ikario went silent. He also wanted to hear this part of the story as well. Kushina saw that he was curious. And he didn't seem to hate her for being a Jinchuriki. "Why did I betray Konoha?" "It doesn't really matter, it won't change anything," she said, as she was regaining her strength rather quickly. Using the Kyuubi chakra all the time did harm her body, so she was trying to buy time to regain her strength in a natural way, and she was sure he was doing the same. "I'm not buying that crap, answer my question," said Naruto. She sighed tiredly. "I will accomplish the task that Jiraiya could not. I will bring peace and justice to this world." "Peace and justice?" "Don't screw with me," said Naruto. "You betray your comrades, your friends, your family, my village. Don't you dare give me that bullshit," he said. She looked towards him. He was hell-bent on protecting his friends and his family. "Then tell me, what's your goal?" she asked. "I'm going to defeat all of you and put an end to this war. I'm going to stop this madness no matter what it takes." She laughed at him. "So that's your way of justice? Tell me, what about my village, my parents, my clan? Does Konoha alone have the right to proclaim peace and justice?" As she remembered how their clan and village was betrayed by their greatest allies. Today the Uzumaki clan is nearly extinct, and Konoha had played a vital part in this treasonous. The boy was shocked. What are you talking about?" "Konoha is your village." She shook her head. "My name is Kushina Uzumaki. I belong to the clan of Uzu. That village got destroyed in the Second Shinobi War," said Naruto. She nodded. "They were allies with Konoha. The crest on their uniform is a symbol of the Uzumaki clan. The people of my clan were skilled in Fonjutsu and they were known for their longevity. We were a peaceful clan, but they were threatened. The other villages were threatened by the knowledge that we have. So they plotted to destroy us." "But surely," said Naruto, "Konoha must have helped its allies, if your village and Konoha were allies." "Your so-called allies never sent any help. Apparently a few people in your village consider my clan a threat. I was in Konoha at that time to become the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, because only my people can hold the 9 tails. While Konoha was using me, they watched my village get destroyed by the stone, Kiri and Kumo. My entire family was wiped out. Is that how you treat your family? By selling them like dogs?" He lowered his head in shame. "That was the same thing they did to Armin. If this was the truth, how was Konoha different from the other villages? Konoha only care about their interests. So stop spreading your bullshit about family," she said. She expected him to shout back, but he didn't say a single thing. "I know how that feels. To be betrayed by your own village. What you're doing right now is acceptable." She tried to search for any deceit in his words, but she couldn't find none. She was a Kyuubi Jinchuriki, yet he considered her a human being, and not a weapon. And she tried to kill his friends, and yet he didn't hate her. "Why? I'm your enemy. Why don't you hate me?" she said. "Because my mom and dad never give up on you. And neither will I." As he removed his face mask, she took a step back in shock. Her legs felt weak. This was not possible. Was she really trying to kill him? "My son's right, Kushina-chan." She looked behind her. As there he stood, Minato, Namikaze. As he stood there, "You can come back to us." As she saw Mikoto stand there as well. "Don't give up so easily. Don't let the Kyuubi hatred influence you. Yes, come back to us." As she saw Jiraiya stand there as well. The 3 people that supported her through her life. The people who she once called family, the people that she laughed, cried with, and shared everything with. It can be all yours again. Don't face this cruel world alone. As she looked back towards Naruto, all the dots started connecting in her mind. "I am Naruto Namikaze, the son of Minato Namikaze, and Mikoto Uchiha. And I'm going to take you back to your family," he said. After 14 years of loneliness. But she knew there was no going back now as she raised a single hand sign. Release. As they were gone, leaving Naruto alone. "I cannot live in that genjutsu anymore. You are their son. The child of my best friends, and yet I tried to kill you. I abandoned my comrades, everyone, to search for that peace. I sacrificed everything. Even if you defeat me now, the hatred will never stop. Then I'll save everyone else as well. As long as there's hope in your heart, I'll save them from the darkness. I will never give up," he said. Ikario watched as tears slip from Kushina's eyes. He didn't want to admit it, but maybe Naruto can truly change this world. How can you believe so much in yourself? How do you know you won't change when you go through all this pain and suffer? She had followed Madara all these years, and she knew this world was corrupted and full of pain and nothing but loneliness. Madara Mater saw that this world was filled with nothing but worthless, painful memories, and yet here he stood, someone who wanted to save it, someone who believed that he could save it. I know love, he said, and the family that shower you with it. I know happiness to the comrades when they are around you, the feel that hole in your heart. And I also know despair, pain, suffering, he said. And most of all, I have darkness in myself, and it's because of that darkness I can understand your pain, he said. But the only thing we can do is keep on fighting against it until the end. And we are not alone, we have friends, families that can support us. You just have to let them in, it's never too late. Come back to us, Kushina, said Naruto. As she was struggling. Tears flew from her eyes, but she could not say the words. She started to walk towards him. Was she really mistaken? Could she have made the wrong choice? Most of all, how could she betray her family? She was not someone that gave up on family. No, something was wrong. This don't make any sense. Her head started to pain her. Hikaru sensed something. So this was the real truth of this woman. Naruto, jump, he said. A chakra tail almost stabbed him in the heart. Luckily, he evaded the attack. What are you doing? Surrender, Kushina, he yelled. She's a puppet. Look in her eyes, Hikaru said. 5 tails emerged behind her. As Naruto saw the frozen expression in her eyes, as he understood what happened to her all those years ago. That's right, she has lost control now. Even if she wants to come back, she can't. Someone's controlling her mind. The 6th tail emerged. As Naruto realized she was going all out, he could not fight the full 9 tails. But if he ran away, his company would be massacred. As Naruto looked up in the sky, no one understand. Captain Foxy said. What the hell are you doing, Hikaru said. You have to, but Naruto cut off the connection between them. It's my turn to fight for them. As he looked towards the barrier the water clones were holding. As the second commander. As Naruto focused on Kushina. As he gripped his blade. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications I posted. But I'm over now, see you guys soon. Peace.